Hello, Oracles. Well, today I'm going to break down our Tesla earnings preview. We have earnings coming up this Wednesday, January 25th, after hours. So usually around that 4:05 to 4:10 p.m. Eastern time, we will get the earnings that drop, and then at 5:30 p.m. Eastern time, we do get the earnings call. I will be doing two separate live streams, one to go over the information when it drops, and then I'll come back on to do another one for the earnings call. So today we are going to break down what my estimates are for these earnings for Q4, for all of 2022, and what my expectations are for 2023. We will also dive into the analyst estimates for all three as well. So we will get into that in just a minute. All right, so to start off, I want to preface this with this is going to be more of a rough, basic numbers that I have come up with. I have my full valuation model available to members and patrons if you guys want to join there. Today, I'm just going to break down the basic major numbers that we're going to look at. And this isn't something like, a James Stevenson who has amazing numbers, amazing charts. This is very basic. If you do want to see something more in depth, I highly recommend following James. And there are many others as well out there that have some very good numbers and breakdowns. Mine is just going to be basic numbers again. The full valuation model is available to members and patrons. So to break it all down, we already know that deliveries are 405,278. This can fluctuate a little bit, but I use that base number because it's not usually that much different. So going with the Q4 estimates, I'm coming in with an average selling price of $53,000. Consensus estimate is around that $54,000 mark. So consensus estimate has the vehicle selling a little bit higher than I do. Now, my numbers for this are extremely conservative. We do not know what this recession could be holding for us if we do get into one. So I'm trying to err very much on the conservative side. So everything for me should be a surprise if we end up performing better than what my expectations are. This goes back to my whole thesis of prepare for the worst and hope for the best. So not to say that this is my worst case scenario, but this is, I guess you could say, my worst base case scenario coming out of this. And so looking at vehicle margins, I have them coming in at 28%. I do not know what consensus estimate is on that. So looking at 28% for that, revenues, I have them coming in at just over $24 billion. Consensus estimate is 24.3 billion. Gross profit, I have 6.2 billion and an EPS of $1.02. Consensus estimate is $1.12 for EPS. Now, my EPS is non-GAAP adjusted, so this is without any regulatory credits or anything. So that is $1.02 on my estimate for EPS for Q4. Now, diving into the full 2022 year, we know that deliveries were 1.313 million. So we are looking at that number. I have the average selling price for the year at 57,000. Consensus estimate is around the $56,500 mark. I have vehicle margins for the entire year at 29%. Do not know what the consensus estimate is, but revenues, I come in just slightly above consensus estimate. I have 81.8 billion and consensus estimate right now is 81.6 billion. Gross profits, I have coming in for the year at 22.37 billion with an EPS of $3.74. Again, that is non-GAAP adjusted without any regulatory credits. When we look at the consensus estimate, they are looking at $4.02. So now my estimates for 2023, again, this is me being very conservative with my numbers. I have deliveries coming in at 1.85 million. That is a 41% year over year growth for deliveries. Consensus estimate right now is 1.96 million. My average selling price for 2023 is going to be $47,000. I do anticipate another price cut coming this year. So I think we might see, if the IRS does not change anything in March, I think we may see a $3,000 price cut coming for pretty much across the board Model 3s and Model Ys. It does seem like right now Model Ys are selling faster and Model 3 inventory is building up. So we may see a more steep cut in the Model 3 because it seems like the Model Y right now is cannibalizing the Model 3. We will see how the year plays out. But again, playing it on the conservative side, I think $47,000 is a safe number to go with. And now looking at vehicle margins, I think vehicle margins, by taking all the price cuts that they are taking, we will still see vehicle margins at 24%. We do know that we are striving to see this number over 30%. So that is quite a hit on this number. But pumping out the vehicles right now is the most important thing to Tesla. And so in order to do so, they may have to drop prices, thereby bringing down the vehicle margins. Now, when it comes to total revenue, Because of the fact that I have less vehicles being delivered and a lower average selling price, my revenue for 2023 estimate is $103.2 billion, whereas consensus estimate is $106.1 billion. And this puts my gross profit for 2023 at $25.1 billion and an EPS of $4.33 per share, whereas consensus estimate is $4.40 per share. And so overall, even though I have conservative numbers, so even though my numbers are conservative, it still shows a quarter over year growth of 35% in revenue and 12% growth quarter over quarter, a gross profit growth of 28% quarter over year and 15% quarter over quarter. And when it comes to full year numbers, we are looking at 53% year over year growth for revenue, 64% year over year growth for gross profit, and 65% growth year over year for EPS. So, again, when we talk about numbers, when we're talking about is it an epic quarter, if you look at it strictly from a delivery standpoint, we've had this discussion many times. 40% growth, especially in the year that we saw where everyone else was struggling to even be positive with growth, that's outstanding. However, based upon Tesla's own estimates of 50%, which they even reiterated at the Q3 earnings call, that does seem like it fell short. However, when you look at the actual things that are driving the business forward, when you look at the actual bottom line dollars, these are the dollars that are being spent to continue growing the business even further, and those dollars that, on top of growing the business further, could be used for a buyback if they so choose. That is the real big number. That is the one that is still growing significantly more than 50% year over year, based upon my estimates. Of course, we will see on Wednesday if that actually comes to fruition. But that's the thing that I really want you guys to pay attention to is it is important to make sure deliveries are growing. That is very important. But just because deliveries aren't there, they may have cut costs in many other places. They may have become more lean and more efficient in other areas of their operation. That there is what is going to end up hitting that bottom line even harder, thereby causing Tesla to be even more profitable and having even more epic numbers than we thought of. And some quick charts that I wanted to share with you guys before we ended today is the search interest in Model 3s and Model Ys. Karav shared this with me over on Twitter, and we are seeing a massive spike in Model 3 and Model Y search. Obviously, when we saw the price cuts come down, this is a major reason for that, but this is a very good sign. We haven't seen a spike like this since they were first announced. So this is huge interest in Tesla. And as we saw last year with the Super Bowl, everybody else advertised and Tesla's search interest spiked then as well. So we will pay attention over the next couple of weeks to see how this is going to be spiking even further, but this is a great sign. And Karav also shared his non-GAAP EPS. He's coming in at $1.25. Mine, I know my $2 is without the regulatory credits and some other things. Otherwise, my non-GAAP EPS estimate is $1.21. So we will see where we come in on Friday as well. You guys can let us know in the comments below what are your estimates for any one of these numbers. EPS obviously is going to be one of the most important numbers to pay attention to, but there's a lot of other factors as well. So you guys can feel free to share all of your numbers down below. And don't forget, we will be doing the live stream for the earnings. So I will put up those links as soon as I have them up for you guys. Otherwise, thank you all so much for watching. Thank you for your support. We will see you in the next one.